Hey everyone, Carl back with Littleroot Lessons, bringing you a deep dive featuring Rillaboom. Rillaboom's been a pillar of the format for a very long time, ever probably since about Series 3, and I figured it'd be time to talk about it now as we kind of get ready to migrate into Series 10, because Rillaboom was very good in Series 8, and we never really got to sit and actually talk about it, and kind of talk about the things that Rillaboom actually gets to do. So before we get started here, remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications for when new videos go live. We put new videos out every single day of the week, and let's just get right into it. So, Rillaboom. It is a unique Pokemon because it can fill a lot of roles all at the same time. It's more of a jack of all trades than an expert in one particular thing, because Rillaboom's move pool is unique. Fake Out, Grassy Glide, Taunt, all these weird utility moves that you would think a Dark type would normally get, Rillaboom has access to it. So it's kind of this trickster monkey Pokemon. Mainly used as a bulky physical attacker though, these sets, like I mentioned, have a lot of unique tools. Assault Vest sets get things like Knock Off and U-Turn, whereas Miracle Seed sets can play Fake Out, Protect, Taunt if they need to. Choice Band sets got access to Superpower or Drain Punch, which is really cool. So Rillaboom's kind of been this diverse attacker for a very long time. Also being one of the only grassy terrain setters in the format that actually does something a lot of the time. Not to discredit Tapu Bulu, but Rillaboom's just a better version in my opinion. Rillaboom's kind of become this pillar of the format where it's, if you're not playing Rillaboom, you're playing an answer to Rillaboom, and that's kind of just how the game works. So looking at its history in the meta, it was a rare commodity before getting Grassy Surge. Once it got Grassy Surge though, its play just took off. I remember getting trounced by Grassy Surge Rillaboom in early Series 3, or it was early Series whatever, I think it was 4, when it was a draft league. I got trounced by a Grassy Surge leftover substitute Rillaboom, which, let me tell you, it's insane. It had Leech Seed, and Grassy Glide wasn't a thing yet, but it just sat there and just healed up over and over and over, and it was annoying. Looking towards Series 10 though, it looks to be a very powerful Pokemon again, just because a lot of the other grass types that were popular in the format had gotten weaker because they lost access to their Gmax, whereas Rillaboom never really Dynamaxed to begin with. It was always there as an option, but you never really wanted to because Grassy Glide and Fake Out were so powerful. So it looks to kind of take a step up and be the prominent grass type in this format. Looking at common partners, it tends to be more of a support attacker style, so you don't see a lot of like, this Pokemon is always a partner with Rillaboom. It's more other support Pokemon that tend to help Rillaboom do its thing. Things like Incineroar and Landorus are very good options here, just because Intimidate's very good alongside your Rillaboom. One of the things Rillaboom's actually known for being best at is a partner to Colossal teams. Having that Grassy Surge means Earthquake isn't as problematic. It gives access to Fake Out, which means you can have double Fake Out on your teams with Incineroar and Rillaboom. So it's no surprise to see the other Colossal partners up high on the partner list, like Rapid Strike Urshifu and Dragapult. Common moves and items have been kind of boiled down since this Pokemon's been played a ton. The sets for it have kind of been narrowed down and refined over time. Since getting access to Grassy Glide in Series 5, it's a must-have move in my opinion. Base 70 power with the +1 priority on grassy terrain is nuts. Also having access to Fake Out, this is another almost must play a lot of the time. Usually you play it alongside like the Protect set with Woodhammer, and that's your standard Miracle Seed, Rose and Scent set. The other moves here tend to be played on the Assault Vest and Choice Band sets. U-Turn, Knock Off, High Horsepower, there's Taunt, there's a whole bunch of other good support moves that Rillaboom gets that aren't listed here, but these are a lot of the common ones. Choice Band sets tended to run Superpower instead of like Knock Off, just because being locked into Knock Off wasn't ever really a good option. Granted, locking into Superpower wasn't good either, but a Choice Band Superpower picked up a lot of KOs when it needed to. As mentioned earlier, Rillaboom's viewed as a support attacker, so that means it kind of just fits where you need it to be. It's like I said, a jack of all trades, meaning if you need Fake Out, you can get Fake Out through Rillaboom. If you need just a grass type, Rillaboom does a very good job of just being an annoying grass type. However, you can still play these super offensive builds in Series 9. Its Gigantamax factor means that it gets access to G-Max Drum Solo, which ignores abilities and all that fun stuff. Plus, on grassy terrain with Miracle Seed, it's probably equivalent to a base 200 power G-Max move, which is unheard of in current formats. Alongside these super offensive options, there's also bulkier supportive builds. Just because having access to Grassy Glide means your damage output is never bad, it's just hindered just a little bit. So these supportive Rillaboom sets with things like Taunt and just Fake Out and Protect means that you can actually do cooler things with it. So looking at these move sets, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the first two and then we'll get to the Iron Ball meme, whatever you want to call it, later on. So the first two sets are the very standard Rillaboom sets. First one being Miracle Seed, Stab, Grass moves, Fake Out, Protect. This is super duper common. Max attack. I think his base speed here is like 115. So if you're looking to outspeed Rillaboom's speed creep to 116, just put that extra point in. It helps you out in the long run. The second set here is more of a slower Assault Vest set, looking to take advantage of Grassy Glide and Fake Out as its like priority moves, and then Knock Off and High Horsepower can kind of be these coverage moves. You can also see U-turn on these sets, just so you can switch in and out and get multiple Fake Outs off in a turn. Last up here, though, is this Iron Ball set. So way back in, like, I want to say it was like Series 4 or Series 5, Indeedee Female was very, very popular. So we were joking around trying to find ways to undercut Indeedee. So Iron Ball means that you underspeed Indeedee, you underspeed Tapu Fini, which are technically all on the same base speed as you, meaning your terrain will be the terrain that goes up if you both go out at the same time. Now that Dynamax is gone, this is probably a more viable set than we give it credit for, just because there's no max airstreams running at you all the time. Your priority moves can kind of carry you through the game. You can Wood Hammer if you need to, like against like Kyogre or something like that. But a lot of your priority moves are going to help you carry that game, help you carry out your game plan, while still making sure that your terrain is the terrain that's going to be up all the time. And this is kind of cool just because it's just like Indeedee Xerneas is going to be really, really good. You're going to want to undercut Indeedee there just so you can Fake Out Xerneas to kind of stall it out a little bit longer. Other terrain setters are things like the other Tapu Fini. If you want to make sure you hit that with a Grassy Glide, you can undercut it with Iron Ball and you're going to be able to pick it up most of the time. Things like that. Rillaboom being a grass type is both a hindrance and a help. Grass types aren't super duper common right now in VGC just because you're usually playing Rillaboom or Venusaur, and that's kind of all you get. But because it's a grass type, it's weak to Fire, Flying, and Ice, which are really good coverage moves right now, and almost all players will have an access to them at some point. The other way to kind of beat up Rillaboom is just to look to have terrain control. Grassy Glide being its main damage output means that if you take away that grassy terrain, it can't deal as ton of damage like it's been doing. And one of the things I notice when I'm like running calcs for Rillaboom is to remember to add grassy terrain to your calculator. A lot of the calculators do not add that in there. They will just run the calc without grassy terrain being up. So make sure to add that into your calculator so you don't miscalc and then get blown out by an opposing Rillaboom. To wrap up on Rillaboom here, it's a very powerful Pokemon and has been a pillar of the format for a very long time. And I kind of expect this trend to continue into Series 10 as the Weather Duo is very, very popular. Priority is going to be very, very good. Regieleki is going to be super fast. Being able to hit that thing with the Grassy Glide is going to be really, really good. And Rillaboom is just going to take off, I feel like, in play usage. And Grassy Terrain is a very powerful tool, especially with Dynamax being gone. Being able to mitigate Earthquake and Bulldoze damage is going to be good for your electric types and your other ground weaknesses. And with proper planning and proper switching, maybe even an Iron Ball thrown in or two, you can make sure that your terrain reigns supreme and you're not going to be lackluster when it comes to damage. And with that being said, I want to thank everyone for hanging out and listening to me rant about Rillaboom today. Make sure to check us out on Twitter. All of our handles are there on screen. Make sure to check out the Discord down below. Our Draft League signups are coming to an end soonish. Today would be the 10th. Today would be the 9th. So signups end in about 2.5 weeks. So definitely get your signups in if you haven't yet already. And remember to hit the subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. It's free, and that's all we ask for anybody. And have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever in the world, and we will see you all next week. Bye, guys.